Yeah, so I think at its outset we were excited by the opportunity with OpenAP because one of the challenges that we've had with audience buying is the limitations to optimize within different walled gardens, right? Versus trying to optimize across the entire cable or broadcast landscape. So OpenAP started to allow for more standardization, more similar audience segments across a greater depth and breadth within cable. So now with NBCUniversal joining, it gives us even more scale to buy and transact on from an audience standpoint. So certainly the more partners that join OpenAP, the more it allows us to really have that standardization across a greater amount of networks within the portfolio, which is certainly the direction that we had been pushing partners for. Because again, to optimize within limited channels doesn't really give us full purview into all of the opportunities out there in the marketplace. So it's a good step in that direction to have better standardization, better access to inventory across more properties. Yeah, I think one thing is this idea that typically we're buying content, right? You're buying certain primetime shows, or you're buying certain day part mixes because that's the proxy that you use to reach an audience. And what we know that audiences right now are very, very fragmented. There's 100 channels, there's thousands of digital sites, connected TVs. So in order to make sure that we're getting the full reach, we not only want to buy certain content or certain channels, but actually go and find those audiences wherever they may be consuming content. So we look at it as it's a complement to what we're doing. We still believe in that sort of base traditional way of buying because it allows us to get access to certain content that's important. But layering on an audience-based approach allows us to extend that reach across other channels or other platforms that we may not be reaching them through those more traditional fixed TV buys. So clients really want to understand, what is the cost of doing business this way? What incremental reach am I going to get? They want more transparency on where will the inventory run, because it can't just be a black box, hey, we're going to go find 1 million impressions and don't worry about where they run. I mean, we need to have transparency about where the spots are running, where the ads are being placed. And I think that the more transparent we are on the front end and the more metrics that we can supply them on the front end as well as the back end, and even while we're in flight, gives clients more comfort to keep putting money and transacting in that way. Yeah, I mean, I think the first one, attribution, it's looking, again, I don't think it's in a silo. It's looking at when you look at all of your TV buying, whether you're buying it through a more traditional model or you're doing it in audience-based buying, it's having a consistent attribution model to understand, whether you're trying to drive searches or you're trying to drive in-store visits, whatever that attribution is, that it's consistent and you're looking at the full depth of all of your investments. And so we have TV attribution models that we use that allows us to look at any channel regardless of how you're actually transacting. So clients more and more obviously want to make sure that every dollar that they're putting their investments in the places that are driving the most effectiveness to drive their business, and the business outcome is ultimately what we're held accountable to. And then coupled with that, I think the pricing part of it is really about establishing a new baseline and a new price base. Because I think just to look at age sex demos is not the way to show efficiencies. It's really about saying, hey, what is it, if we bought this audience in the past, what would it have cost? And then being able to use that as the baseline to keep driving that price down and being more efficient against your strategic targets versus strictly an age, sex, gender. Demo-based buying approach, which is what we've been doing historically. So I think it's trying to show that when you look at those strategic targets, that's where we can drive a lot of value.